You ever wonder if there's more to your story than just your zodiac sign? Well, today we're going to dive into a system that tries to map the entire universe onto a single chart. And our guide for this journey is the classic text Jyotish Sarva Sangrah. So let's start with a really basic question. What actually is a birth chart? I mean, is it just a bunch of symbols scribbled on some paper? Or is there something deeper going on? Well, according to this ancient system, it's something way, way more profound. I want you to imagine a perfect snapshot of the entire cosmos, a super detailed map of the heavens, frozen at the exact moment you took your very first breath. That's the idea behind a birth chart. Okay, so how in the world do you even start to read a cosmic map like that? Well, the first thing you have to understand is how this system measures time. And, forget about your typical hours and minutes. We're talking about the actual gears of a cosmic clock. The very first gear in this clock is something called tithis. These are basically lunar days. There are 16 of them, and each one marks a specific phase of the moon's journey from new to full and all the way back again. This rhythm is like the foundational pulse of the entire system. And then we layer on top of that the nakshatras. Now, the best way to think about these is as 28 distinct lunar mansions or sectors in the night sky. So every night, the moon is basically visiting one of these mansions, and each one is said to have its own unique energy and personality. And it gets even more complex with the 27 times yogas. And no, we're not talking about stretching poses here. In this context, yoga means union. Each one of these represents a very specific quality of energy that's created by the angle between the sun and the moon at any given moment. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's that we're not just using a simple calendar. We're layering multiple interlocking cycles, one on top of the other. And what this does is create an incredibly precise and honestly a really nuanced way of defining any single moment in time. Okay, so we've got this amazingly detailed clock. But now the question is, how does that clock actually relate to the map of the heavens? Let's take a look. This is where the familiar zodiac signs, or rashis, as they're called here, come into the picture. So you've got the 12 rashis and the 28 nakshatras. And they're really just two different ways of slicing up the very same 360-degree canvas of the sky. Here's the key to understanding it. Think of the nakshatras as like a fine-toothed comb. They give you all the super precise details. Meanwhile, the rashis are the broader brushstrokes. And when you put them together, you get a map that has both these sweeping themes and really intricate, tiny details. So we've got this incredibly detailed system of time and space, but what does any of this cosmic machinery have to do with you, as an individual? Well, the central idea is this. At the exact moment you're born, a snapshot is taken of the cosmos. And the snapshot captures the precise alignment of everything we've just talked about, the tithi, the nakshatra, the yoga, and of course, the position of every single planet. And that cosmic snapshot gets captured in this, the Janma Kundali. That's the birth chart. The examples here show that classic diamond shape you see in a North Indian chart. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as your personal, celestial birth certificate. So your Janma Kundali is supposed to be more than just a map of the stars. It's a map of your life. See, each of those little segments, or houses, that you see in the chart corresponds to a different area of your experience. We're talking career, relationships, health, you name it. But, a map isn't much use if you don't know how to read it. So how do you go from this static blueprint to making actual predictions about a person's life? Well, this is where the art of interpretation really comes in. This text is just filled with hundreds of unbelievably specific rules. For instance, and get this, it says that the position of what it calls a malefic, or challenging planet in your chart, will actually correspond to a literal mole on your body. The celestial is tied directly to the physical. It's pretty wild. And that's just one rule. There are hundreds more just like it. And that's the core principle right there. Every single element in your chart, every planet, every sign, every house, is believed to hold a key to understanding every part of your life, from your personality all the way to your ultimate destiny. So you can see the Janma Kundali isn't just a chart of stars. It's presented as this incredibly profound system for figuring out our place in the cosmos. But it does leave us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Is this blueprint a fixed map of our fate, or is it more like a mirror, just showing us the infinite possibilities of who we could become? What do you think?